let's talk about something we all struggle with, our relationship with the past. It can get so complicated, right? Sometimes painful. We get stuck there, replaying things over and over. So why does that happen? And, more importantly, what can we actually do about it? Let's dive in.
Does this sound familiar? I bet it does. It's that feeling that your own mind is this restless thing you can't control, always dragging you back to something you regret or launching you into some future catastrophe you've made up. This is the core of so much of our anxiety, isn't it?
So what is the past? I mean, really, is it this solid, unchangeable thing that's already happened? Or is it something more flexible? It seems like a simple question, but the answers are incredible. Today, we're going to look at this through a few different lenses: psychology, some ancient spiritual wisdom, and yeah, even the mind-bending world of quantum physics. Okay, let's start with the way most of us see it. The past is done. It's over. It's set in stone. And it's the history that brought us right here, to this moment. But even if that's true, what's its purpose? Is it just a burden we have to carry?
You know, there's this beautiful parable about a weaver of time who puts it perfectly. The dark threads, our mistakes, our heartbreaks, all the tough stuff, they aren't there to mess up the design. They're absolutely essential. They're the shadows that make the bright, golden threads of our joys and our wins actually stand out. Without both, there's no pattern at all.
So, if the past is a necessary part of who we are, why does it so often feel like a prison? Let's dig into the mechanics of what's actually going on in our brains when we just can't seem to let go and move on.
So how does this work exactly? Well, there's a really powerful idea from psychologist Jordan Peterson. He says to think of your brain as having this built-in alarm system. Its number one job? To protect you from future danger by constantly flagging unresolved threats from your past.
Here's the breakdown. A bad experience, especially from a long time ago, punches a hole in your mental map of how the world works. Your brain's alarm system just keeps pointing at that hole, screaming, "Danger, we never figured this out." So it replays the memory over and over to keep you on high alert. The only way to shut off that alarm? You have to go back to that memory, not as the person you were then, but with all the strength and wisdom you have now, and basically update the file.
But here's the thing, it's not always about bad memories. There's another way we get stuck. Sometimes we get trapped by clinging to this idealized version of who we used to be. You know, that happier, more motivated person we feel like we've lost. The past then becomes this constant painful reminder of a self we can't get back to, and it just drains all our motivation for the present. Okay, so we get why we're stuck. Now for the important part. How do we get unstuck? Let's jump into a toolkit with 3 very different but very powerful strategies for totally reframing our relationship with time. All right, tool number 1 isn't about trying to change or erase the past at all. Nope, it's about using it. The goal here isn't to pretend you were never wounded, it's to use those wounds to become wise.
Buddhist philosophy actually offers a really clear 3-step path for this. First, just accept the mistake. See it for what it is without your ego freaking out. We're human, we mess up. Second, confess it. Not to the whole world, but to someone you trust, someone wise who can give you some perspective. It's incredibly freeing. And third, this is the game changer. Commit to restraint. Make a real, firm decision that you won't make that same mistake again. Just like that, a mistake stops being a step back and becomes a step forward.
Now for a totally different way of thinking. What if, instead of just accepting the past, you could actually rewrite it? I know, this sounds a little out there, but it's an idea that's really taking off.
Manifestation coach Chris Miller makes this fascinating point. The past doesn't exist anywhere except as a memory in your mind. Right here, right now. It's not a movie that's already been filmed. It's a story that you are actively telling yourself. So the logic goes, if you can consciously change the story you're telling, well, then you can change your history. And that changes who you are today and what you're going to create tomorrow.
So this lays it out perfectly. You've got these 2 very different philosophies. On one side, the path of acceptance. Hey, the past happened, it was a lesson, now use it to be stronger. And on the other, the path of revision. The past is just a thought, so change the thought and you change your entire reality. 2 completely different roads leading to peace. And that brings us to our third tool, which is maybe the most important because it's what makes the other 2 possible. See, whether you choose to learn from your past or rewrite it, all that work can only happen in one place, right here, in the present moment.
Let's go back to that monk and student. The monk uses this incredible metaphor. He says, your mind is like a river. You can't reach back and grab the water that's already gone by. That's the past. And you can't touch the water that's still coming downstream. That's the future. The only point of contact, the only place you have any real power, is the single drop you can touch right now. So we've looked at how our own minds can reframe the past. But what if the nature of time itself is way more flexible than we think? Okay, let's get a little weird for a minute and dive into the truly mind-bending world of physics, which asks a wild question. What if the past isn't actually fixed at all?
As Neil deGrasse Tyson often explains, the classic issue with time travel is the grandfather paradox, right? If you go back and stop your parents from ever meeting, then how were you ever born to go back in the first place? It creates this impossible loop, and physics really doesn't like paradoxes.
But there's this strange, highly speculative theory in quantum mechanics that might just offer a bizarre way around this. It's called retrocausality. And basically, it suggests that on a tiny, fundamental level, the arrow of time might not be a one-way street.
Yeah, you heard that right. It's a shocking idea that seems to break every rule of cause and effect we've ever learned. The theory basically says that, under very specific quantum conditions, something you do in the future could ripple backwards and influence something that has, from our point of view, already happened.
Okay, so this wild idea is actually trying to solve a very real puzzle in physics. Scientists have seen that when certain particles are linked, or entangled, they can instantly affect each other, even if they're on opposite sides of the universe. This seems impossible because nothing should travel faster than light. Retrocausality offers a crazy answer. Maybe the measurement we make in the future sends a signal back in time to when the particles were born, telling them how to behave. Weird, right?
So, after a trip through psychology, spirituality, and some pretty wild physics, what's the actual takeaway? How do we pull all these threads together and, just feel better?
It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? But here's the beautiful thing. It doesn't matter which theory you subscribe to. Whether the past is a fixed lesson to learn from, a story you can literally rewrite, or some kind of strange quantum echo, every single path leads back to the exact same place, your point of power. The only place you can ever make a choice is right here in the now. And this brings us right back to that final brilliant piece of wisdom from the monk story. We spend so much of our lives trying to fight the river of time, right? Trying to stop it, trying to reverse it, but that's not where peace lives. Peace is found by fully arriving in your boat, your present circumstances. It's about finding your balance right where you are, on the part of the river that's flowing at this exact moment, and learning how to steer from there.
So, in the end, the question isn't really about what happened way back then. It's not even about what might happen tomorrow. The only question that really matters is this. Your boat is right here, right now. Where are you going to steer it next?